Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. In this video I wanted to kind of go over what kind of gear I use, and as you can see I'm on eBay under vintage manual focus lenses because that's primarily what I use. If you go to my website under the About Me section, it also has a little paragraph for about my gear, and it just tells you a little bit about the lenses that I have and the gear that I use. So I don't primarily use any kind of off-camera flash or additional lighting. I usually only use natural lighting, and most of my photographs are taken outside. So mainly the only thing I ever purchase when it comes to camera gear would be a body or lenses. So here is just, let me find my mouse. Okay, so here is just a random eBay post, or a random eBay page, sorry. And I know a lot of cameras don't, well, I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of cameras don't use don't have mounts that go with different the different lenses. Sorry about that. I know Sony does, and some of the other mirrorless, they do have the mounts that you can use vintage lenses with. I know Canon, I was trying to find a vintage Canon lens for another photographer in the area, and I just could not find the mounts that I was looking for. So I know, speaking from a strictly Sony user, I know that Sony has a mount for pretty much every kind of lens. So this is why I go with a lot of vintage lenses. You can get the same look for a fraction of the price, and then that gives you more room to purchase a wider variety of lenses. You're not stuck with one or two lenses. You can have 50 lenses, or whatever, for the same kind of price. So you just kind of have to look around, and you see there's I don't know what Phototron is, or Fortron, sorry, but it's $20. So I mean, these lenses are so much cheaper than you would find, and I know I have quite a few. I have a 35mm, an 85mm, a 105, 135, 70 to 210, 200, and I believe a 200 to 300, I'm not sure. But all vintage lenses, and I do have a couple 50mm, but so pretty much the only lens that I use that is not manual focus is my 50mm Sony lens that is native to my Sony camera. I use that primarily because it was very cheap, and we got it together with the camera. I mean, it didn't come together, but we got them at the same time. So as I'm just scrolling down through here, you can see, I mean, some of these lenses aren't great. This one, it's 4.5, but you can also see that there are a ton of good lenses, and you can get the really cool looking vintage lenses that give you different kinds of bokeh and give you different kinds of looks to your images. So it's just something to think about if you're thinking about switching to Sony or another kind of camera, or if you're thinking about using manual focus. And a lot of people are intimidated by manual focus, and I was for a while, but when it came down to it and I just could not afford a $1,000 Sony lens, I thought, well, hey, I'll give it a try. And I tried, and I shoot a lot of family and kids, and it's hard to get a child, or for me at first it was hard to get a child to stay in focus long enough with a manual focus lens. So I just had to keep practicing at it, and with each lens there's a particular sweet spot, is what they call it. The settings will be perfect, and the focus, you focus forward a little bit and you focus back a little bit, and then you get to that perfect spot, and it's just sometimes, for me, most of the time, the 70 to 210 Tamron lens that I use is old. It's a vintage lens. It's not a newer one. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but my camera does the in-body image stabilization, so I'm not 100% concerned about the lens not having image stabilization. I know some people do, because that is important, especially if your camera does not have that in body. But for that particular lens, I love it. I can focus manually so much faster than I could with an automatic focus lens. For me, it's just that fast. I've learned it, and it's just something that comes a little more naturally to me. So when I do use my my automatic focus lens, I'm finding myself trying to focus it still. So it just, you get used to it, and it really is not that hard. And like I said, I shoot mainly kids and families, and it just is not that, it's still just not that hard for me. And I've been doing that for, I don't know, a few months now, strictly manual focus. So it gets easier, and it gets easy pretty quickly. You get used to it. So don't be intimidated by manual focus. And I'm just still scrolling down. I don't know if you're just giving you guys something to look at, because I hate being on video. Audio is bad enough talking to people. I feel like I'm talking to myself most of the time. But I have my tea, and I am lens shopping, so that is always fun. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, or you want to know more about manual focus or vintage lenses, or how to find one that's right for you, or whatever, just send me an email, and I would love to chat about it. I know mirrorless cameras are becoming more and more popular, and Sony is becoming more and more popular. People are switching, but so if anyone needs some advice or tips, please just let me know, and I'd be happy to help. But that's it for today. I will see you again soon. Or not see you, but I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.